welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever cooking video. If you have any recipes that you want me to try or have any requests, let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Today we're going to be making one of my all-time favorite Mexican dishes. It's called pozole. So for this pozole, I'm actually doing it in 3 different stages. So I'm gonna be preparing the broth portion. It's kind of like a chili base, and then that has corn, well, hominy inside of it. And then I'll be preparing the meat. I'll be doing that in my crock pot. And then also I'll be preparing the toppings that go on top of the soup. I don't typically follow recipes strictly when I cook, but I like to look up a couple different recipes and see what I like from them and kind of adapt my own. I have linked a blog who I think did a fabulous job with pictures and everything of how to make pozole. So if you want a more step-by-step with pictures and everything, go to that blog. So I have to drive 20 minutes to go to church. So that means I don't want to take this giant, hot, huge pan full of soup in my car for that distance, or any distance really. So basically what my plan is to make a concentrate of this chili base. So I'm going to show you the video next of how I prepare the chilies and how I get them in a concentrate. And this concentrate is basically what I'm going to use. Once I get to the church, I'll fill up my pot full of water, and then I'll pour this concentrate into the pot. I thought I could go over quickly the ingredients that will be going into my giant pot of pozole. So first of all is the chili base, or the soup, the red soup base, and the majority of the flavor of that will be coming from these dried chilies. So here I have chile ancho, chile guajillo. So these were both found in our local Mexican grocery store. I've even seen these at Walmart. The recipe calls for 4 ounces of either. I am making a giant batch, so I actually got tons of chilies. Anyway, next. The next thing that goes into our soup is the hominy, or corn. This is the brand I got. I got 3 of these giant cans because, once again, I am feeding a ton of people. You can get giant cans or they have smaller cans. Next is the meat, and I like to do pork pozole. So there's some people that like to do chicken and pork, and there's some people that like to do just chicken. For this pozole, I got a cut called espinazo. And here's what it looks like. I like this because it has bone in it. Then the ingredients to season the meat, I'm going to use garlic, lots of salt, a little bit of oregano. I'm not a huge fan of oregano, so I don't use a ton of it, but I will use a little bit. There's bay leaves. I'll throw in a handful of these when I'm cooking the meat, as well as some cumin. Last but not least, on top of your pozole go fresh ingredients. I do chopped lettuce. A lot of recipes will use cabbage. I have only eaten it with lettuce. I think a lot of people use cabbage and it's probably delicious, but I really prefer lettuce. Slices of radish. We'll have some slices of avocado, some chopped up cilantro, deliciousness, some chopped up onion. I'll have some chopped up jalapenos. I'll chop up some of these for those that want their soup to be a little bit spicy, because I don't plan on making this very spicy as I'm serving a large group. Last but not least, limes, limones. So you have your soup, your base, your meat, your corn, the toppings on top, and then you have to add, or you eat it with a tostada. What do they call these in English? It's like a circular tortilla chip. So you take your circular tortilla chip, like so, and you cover it in sour cream, and then you just love life, because pozole just makes you happy. And now let's get on to making the food. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off the stem of the chilies and take out the seeds and the vines in the middle. Here's what these dried chilies look like. Take the top off, like that. Open it up. And take out all the seeds. what I'm left with. These don't have to be perfect. I would make sure to get all the stems out because they're kind of hard. But if you don't get all the seeds out, it's okay. These are the ancho chilies. And I can tell they're a little bit spicier just because of the way they smell. All right, finally done. I probably need to wash my hands and not touch anything so I don't like burn myself. But here's all my leftover chili pods and seeds. And here's my finished product. Ta-da! What I'm going to do now is take these over to the stove and I'm going to toast them each side lightly. I just did one round and realized I put the heat up too high because they'll burn really quickly. Here I have all the chilies that I toasted. What I'm gonna do is add some water in here and then I'm gonna steam it and cook it for a while. Now what I'm gonna do is brown the meat. I'm going to take all the meat I have and just get it a little bit crispy on the front and the back of it so that, well, I actually don't know why they do that, but pretty much all the recipes say that you should do that to the meat. And then I'm going to put it in the crock pot with all the seasonings that I have. Crock pot pan. Now I'm doing the garlic. What I'm gonna do is I'm sauteing a whole head of garlic. I'm gonna chop it up and then saute it up once the meat is done, and then I will put that in my crock pot. I'm not actually connecting this meat in the crock pot until I go to bed tonight because I don't want it to be done until when I wake up in the morning. So I'll probably put it, connect it around 11 o'clock tonight, and then probably sometime around 7 in the morning I'll disconnect it and start getting it ready for the soup. I'm gonna put it on low, and it is a little bit on the long side, but it is bone in, so I think it'll be fine. Really, some styles of pozole will have chunks of meat and you can kind of take it apart when you're eating it, but I actually want to take the bones out of this meat and I want it to be shredded when I put it in the soup. I personally prefer my pozole to be that way. So I'm going to get my garlic ready and chop it and get it ready to fry up because this meat is almost done. With each layer of meat that I have in my crock pot, I am adding some sprinkles of oregano, cumin, my bay leaves. I'm honestly not measuring it, I'm just sprinkling it, eyeballing it. I don't think it'll make a huge difference one way or the other. I'm just gonna saute the garlic that I chopped up for a little bit, and I'm gonna put that on top of the meat that's in the crock pot. I like to do it in the same pan where I fried the meat because then I get all those little crispies that the meat left behind, and so the garlic kind of soaks them up and it's just more deliciousness for our pozole. I probably could have chopped these finer, but I couldn't find my garlic musher and I was just feeling kind of lazy, so I just kind of chopped them up. But they're gonna be in the crock pot for a long time and it'll be fine, I'm sure. Oh, you guys, this smells amazing. So I have the meat and the oregano, the cumin, the bay leaves, and now the sauteed garlic all in my crock pot. Like I said, I'm gonna let it cool down for a little bit, and then I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and then come about 11 o'clock tonight, I'm gonna put it in my crock pot right before I go to bed so that it's nice and fresh when we wake up in the morning. At this point, my chilies have cooled, so we're gonna go ahead and make the base of soup. Now, if you were making this like a normal person for only maybe like, I don't know, a dozen people, you would not make this concentrate like I do. But because I do not want to transport a giant pot of hot liquid to the church, I am going to make this concentrate and put it into mason jars, and then when I'm at the church, I'll fill the pot full of water, heat the soup up, and pour this concentrate in, and it's basically exactly like the recipe is. We're just kind of delaying it a little bit. I'm gonna grab some chilies, I'm gonna put them in my Ninja. I'm gonna probably have to do it like 5 times because this isn't super huge. And then in that, I'm also going to add some salt, just a little bit, because I don't like to make the base very salty. I like to add salt to the actual soup that I'm making. And then I'm going to add a little bit more garlic. I added a lot of garlic to the meat, so I'm not gonna add a ton. I'll probably add like a clove per container. Next, I'm going to do the radishes. Look how pretty they are. Ends off. I usually cut these by hand, but because I have so many to prepare, I'm going to use this little machine to get them nice and thick. So here's about the thickness.
Then we chop the lettuce finely, rinse it off, and put it in the salad spinner to remove any excess moisture. Chop up the jalapenos. Finally, dice the onion. My husband here does it like a pro. That's why it is always his job to cut the onion for our recipes. And then my favorite ingredient, cilantro. Now I like to rinse this off a couple hours before and let it air dry so it doesn't stick together. Cut up the limes. Then open your can of hominy. We're going to put a strainer in the sink to get rid of the excess liquid that comes in the can. Then I like just to give it a quick rinse. Add the hominy then to your stock pot. When the meat cools off, I take it out of the crock pot and then take the meat and shred it, and I discard the bones. Everything loaded up in the car, ready to take it to church.
Here we are, it's Sunday morning. I'm about ready to share my pozole with everyone. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it gets a good review.
Here I have all my toppings displayed. The lettuce, the radish, avocado slices, we have the limes, diced onions, cilantro, we have plenty of sour cream, jalapenos for those that want spicy, and then plenty of bags of tostadas.
So at church I served the pozole and I didn't actually get any pictures of people eating the pozole. Can you hear my dishwasher going? That is the sound of my kitchen recovering. It was a mess. So that was fun. I've never cooked pozole for that many people at one time. It was huge. I'm honestly just relieved that it turned out. I was a little bit worried. Believe it or not, I actually didn't get any for myself today during lunchtime. I had some other things, and really the funny thing is, after you cook all day and spend so much time on one thing, sometimes that thing doesn't sound appetizing, even though it looked really good and smelled amazing. So finally now for dinner, I'm going to have pozole. So I'll show you my pictures of the final product. It got great reviews. I got lots of compliments at church. I'm gonna share this video with them so that people can make their own pozole, and it's gonna be great. Well, I'm gonna have my dinner now. I have my soup all ready. I have my crema, and I have my tostadas. Now I need to go change my shirt because I'm about to get pozole all over this. I think to really seal the deal on good pozole is you have to make sure to put sour cream on your tostada. It just makes it that much better. Thanks for watching my video today. If you made it all the way to the end, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you next week.